Let's draw a tree stump today. Before we get started on that tree stump, I want to show you a few things. Well, first I want to show you a circle. Right? We all have seen a circle. It's a two-dimensional shape. But if you look at it from a different point of view, you'll notice that it becomes an oval. Right? So we have the circle, and if you were to just pinch it and look at a circle from the side, it would slowly turn to looking more like an oval. Because we're going to use that oval to make a cylinder. And we're going to turn that cylinder into a tree stump. You notice that the cylinder has two parallel lines. Right? Parallel lines are lines that do not touch, and they could continue on forever. As long as they run alongside each other in a straight line, they'll never touch. And notice that we have an oval at the top. However, if you look at the bottom, it's a curve, but it's also an oval. If you were to see through this cylinder, you could see that there is an oval. And I'll put a dotted line right through here so you could see that there is an oval shape. But the reason why we don't see this curve of the oval is because it's a solid object. So we're going to take and create a cylinder and turn the cylinder into a tree stump. So I have a number 2 pencil here. Any pencil will do. They come in all different colors. And let's go ahead and draw our cylinder. So first thing, I'd like to put 2 dots. One dot here. Can you see that dot? And then I'm going to make a dot over here. That'll help me draw my oval shape. Now once I have that oval shape, I'm going to connect the lines. So I'm going to lightly draw it. My lines will be a little bit faint, but I will go ahead and darken them once I have my oval to where I like it to be. And there we go. Now we need to draw lines on the side very lightly, not very dark, very lightly, because we're not going to make lines that are parallel on a tree stump. We're actually going to create the illusion of the tree flaring out at the bottom. So it gets wider at the bottom. So I did that. And I'm going to go ahead and bring in the roots of the tree that are digging right into the ground. Bring in some of the grass. Again, the blades of grass are different sizes and shapes. I'm going to bring in a few wrinkles on the tree to give the illusion that it's coming out from the tree. And then bring in some grass right here. Same thing on this side. I'm going to go ahead and bring in a few wrinkles on there too. And end it with some of the grass. That way it gives the illusion that it's going into the ground. On this side, same thing. So there we are. We have our tree stump so far. We need to bring in some texture. So right here at the top, this is where usually when a tree is cut, you'll see the growth rings. And I want to bring in some cracks along the bark of the tree. Now when a tree dries out, it begins to crack. Alright, because usually it has moisture in it, and the moisture evaporates from the tree, and the tree begins to shrink, and that causes it to crack. There's one. And I'm going to put another one over on this side. And then along the part of the oval here of the tree stump, we want to go ahead and bring in some different shapes of lines or line shapes to give the indication that it's rough. Because the outside of a tree has bark, and the bark is usually rough. Now the next thing we want to pay attention to is, where is our lighting coming from? I'm going to say our light is over here. That means maybe the sun is over on this side, and if it's over on this side, there's going to be light hitting this part of the tree stump here, but then there's going to be a shadow on this side. So if that is the case, we're going to go ahead and bring in more shadows on the right side, our right side of the stump, and less on the other side. And these are just little squiggly lines. And I would suggest to really study trees and what they look like. Study everything around you, every item, every object, to see its texture, to see its shape. All right, and then down here I want to add a few extra wrinkles in here. And I like to bring in a few of these little circles and dots to give it more texture, give it more personality. Sometimes I'll use the side of my pencil here. That way I can make some of the lines a little thicker. Just like that. Down here where the grass is, less light is getting there into it, so we're going to make the grass stand out by shading behind it. And vary your lines, cross hatch lines. Those are the lines that are like the tic-tac-toe lines, to give it more of the indication that it has a lot of texture. And same thing in here. I'm going to go ahead and bring in some shadows right on this side. Super. I think that looks pretty good so far. Now the top part of the tree stump, we want to bring in a few of those growth rings. Very like oval shapes, couple oval shapes. Just like that. And again, the outside has bark, so we want to add some varying lines. Add some of those various lines on the outside. So there we have a tree stump so far. And let's give it a branch here on the side. Let's give it a branch. Now let your hand just naturally move about. No straight lines here. Branches are never straight. Now I'm sure you could find a branch that is almost straight. And we're going to go ahead and bring in a little bit of a leaf right here. How about that? A little leaf just hanging off the side of it. All right. There's one. And we're going to go ahead and bring another one right through here. Just a little one. He needs a friend. How about that? Just a little friend, a friendly leaf there. Same thing here. We're going to go bring in some shadows right through here. Now we need to place this tree stump into an environment. Let's go ahead and bring in a few bushes. So by doing this, we create overlap. We can see that the stump is in front of the bush, and then maybe we'll bring a little happy tree. How about that? A little happy tree in the background. All right. And of course, this little happy tree needs a little friend. Way back here, little friend. And then on this side, we want to add in some bushes on this side too. Allow your pencil just to move along and have a little bit of fun. Don't restrict the pencil from just having a mind of its own. Put some over on this side. And we're going to go ahead and shade the side of our pencil. Let's go ahead and shade in this part of the bushes here. Looking pretty good, I think. And let's go here in the back. Let's make these trees have some shade to them too. And then right here. How's that look? I think that looks pretty good, don't you think? And in the foreground here, so we have, well, we have the stump. We're going to put the stump in the middle ground because we're going to need some objects in the foreground. That means the closest to us. And typically there's three parts. There's the foreground, then you have the middle ground, and then you have the background. Things behind the main subject. So we're going to create things in front of the main subject, and we're going to put some rocks in here. Maybe it's just a playground of rocks. That's where they play. They don't move a lot, but they enjoy right where they're at. How does that look? And I think way in the background, let's go ahead and bring in an indication of maybe a mountain way back here. All right, so we have a big hill or big mountain right here, and then we want to go ahead and bring in another one. Not as large. And then we want to bring another line right through here. And then lines that get very close. That way you can give the indication that things go farther and farther back. And over in this area, it looks like it needs to be balanced a little bit, so we're going to bring in a few birds. Right? Remember, the birds are so far back that they will appear very small. And the smaller you make them, the further back they are. And we're going to go ahead and bring in some ice caps. Right. Now I want to thicken my lines up a little bit here. We want to give our stump a thicker line. Give it a thicker line quality so it stands out a lot more than the background. So we use line to create the background, but we want to make the lines thicker here for the middle ground where our main subject is. It will look like it stands out just a lot better. I'm going to go through and add a few more details in here. A few lines. Really, you can go crazy on this. And you know what? You should go crazy with your bark on your trees. There's so much bark, you want to make sure it looks like there's a lot of texture. It looks rough. Because we as artists are in the illusion business, making things appear what they really are not. Alright, there we are. A tree stump made from a cylinder. Nice job, everyone. Keep up the great work, and I look forward to drawing with you next time. Stay being great.